Hi again. As I said last time, over the weekend, Thursday, Friday, I was involved into hackathon. It was one of the great hackathons I have seen after the whole COVID thingy. It was in person. It was There were more than 2,000 participants, so it was an absolutely great event. But the place where I was, it was around 17 different teams, and with no surprises, there were more than 14 teams. They had some kind of chatbot involving some kind of LLM models behind it. So there were a lot of jokes about it, but reality is that enterprises want chatbots, mainly to talk to their documents, the knowledge base. Maybe it's in Confluence, maybe it is in wikis, PDFs, HTMLs, etc., somewhere. And that's exactly why, as I said last time, RAG is one of the most important thing, because the knowledge base is going to keep on updating, and you cannot keep on training and retraining your LLM models. So and this is also quite great architecture for organizations and enterprises to orchestrate their whole knowledge base, especially if it is going to be an IT support, or if it is a new person being onboarded to the organizations, or it's just a question answers, FAQs and things like that for new projects or assignments. So I have, as I said, I already foresee the great applications that will be built on RAG architecture. So let's talk about the concerns of organizations or enterprises. So most important thing is they are going to have uh, their data which is private. It's going to be a private data, so they cannot put it on public domains. They want to have some kind of an access control, right? Not everybody should be able to see everything. So if you are from team A, you should be able to see data from team A. If you are from team B, you should be able to see the data only from team B. And third thing is, in my opinion, scalability. If it works for scalability, if it works for one project, then with less efforts or zero efforts, I should be able to implement it in other organizations or other departments. So you should be able to replicate with just a change of data. And there are of course hundreds of different architectures and applications available out there in the market, but I believe the best fit for enterprises would be Azure OpenAI, or Azure as a whole. Why? It would be a single place for all your data storage, that all the people from your organization can access it. A single place where you can have an LLM that can be shared by whole of organizations. And here specifically in our use case, it's going to be Azure OpenAI. I mean, there is OpenAI, but we'll talk a little bit more about Azure OpenAI separately. And Azure, they have a very nice, very curated service for cognitive search, or they have now extended it for semantic search as well. It's called as Azure Cognitive Search. And these three put together creates a very powerful tool. So data storage can be live storage of all your documents, PDF files or Confluence, or as I said, it can be anything, text, HTML, blah blah blah. And then it can be then injected, or it can ingest into Azure Cognitive Search Engine, where it can be indexed, where it can have all the embeddings done together. It can have their own logic which can just not return you, word matches, but with a meaning, which is called as semantic search. And then of course we using the RAG architecture, we can pull the relevant data for a given question from our Azure Cognitive Services or Azure Cognitive Search, and then present it to LLM, and LLM can give it back, answer your questions with finest human natural languages. So let's go ahead and try and implement it in the code base or in our project. Okay, so here is a small diagram that I want to show you about the implementation that we're gonna have done today. So we will have a storage, maybe, and this will have my PDF files stored into it. And then this storage will give data to my Azure Cognitive Search. Azure Cognitive Search. So they kind of have relation together. And then Cognitive Search, it has an API as well. You can directly talk to Cognitive Search, but we are not going to do that. We will interact with Cognitive Search using our OpenAI or Azure OpenAI. Azure OpenAI. Yeah, many architecture normally will have some kind of app server running, or middle services, which can interpret many meanings, or it can override some of the things. Some verifications can be done, and then app server of course will give will talk to user interface or user interface. um, no, but today we will not do that. Let's say I will not somehow try to do that. It's gonna take too long. It will be a project altogether within itself. So I will be using only this one, uh, where we just talk with Azure OpenAI and Cognitive Search. Okay.
So here we are for demo. We are in already in Azure portal. First thing is that we always, whenever we start project, we always create a resource group. So let's go ahead and create a resource group for ourselves. Let's call it as an RG rag demo. Let's put it somewhere closer to us. Okay. Okay. Good. So as I said in the demo or in my speech, we would be needing a storage account, we would be needing an Azure Cognitive Search, and we would be needing um, Azure OpenAI. So let's go ahead and create um, a storage account. This will contain all our documents. Uh, in my demo, I'm going to put some textbooks from um, NCERT 11th standard. This is an Indian or India's, you know, let's say central board which guides or which publishes books for students basically. So I'll show you the books as well at later point of time. Storage name should be, let's say, um, rag demo. Storage rag demo. Okay, let's keep everything default and let's create it. Okay, I mean sometimes it takes a second more, but I think we can bear with it. Wherever it's going to take more than a minute, I'll fast forward that particular part so that you guys don't get bored in that time period. Okay, and I think we can simultaneously go ahead and create other things also. It will appear here. The second thing we want to create is Azure Cognitive Search. Okay, Azure Cognitive Search. Yeah, that's the service we want to create. Let's name it as Cognitive Search RAG demo. Again, I would prefer to keep them in one single location. So it would be Switzerland North. More important here is we cannot unfortunately use the free SKU for our demo, especially when you are going to use semantic search. So the most minimum that we can use is the basic one. Of course, if you are an organization or enterprise, I'm pretty sure you guys can afford anything out of this, or that would be required for your project. So again, I'll keep everything default. Uh, Many people will be required to do a lot of tuning under networking, but for me, the default is okay for demo purpose. Okay. And third thing we said we would be requiring an Azure OpenAI. So let's go ahead and create Azure OpenAI. Mm, Azure OpenAI rack demo. Okay. And there is only one pricing stand here. Okay. For the time being, as I said, I really don't care about networks, but if you're an enterprise, you would really want to restrict it to only your network. Okay. And let's go and see what is happening in our demo. So, as I said, it creates, it's an asynchronous activity, and once everything is done, it will show out here. Meanwhile, what we can do is we can go in our storage account and upload. First thing is, in your storage account, you'll have to create a container, and in the container is just like a folder which can hold files. So I'm going to just container called as 11th class books, and in this folder I'm going to upload some files from my uh, local directory, and here are some books. I'll just show you the books at later point of time, but I can say I can upload as many files as I want. PDFs, wikis, HTMLs, anything you say that. Okay, let me upload it. Okay, just to showcase you how the file looks like, let's go ahead with this one. Yeah. Okay. I'll show you from my local download. No, documents. Where is my cloud drive? I can showcase you this stuff. Yeah, this is basically textbooks. Um, and uh, normally teacher will ask you to read through a book, and in the end there would be some questions. So uh, in our demo, it's a 25 page textbook or chapter, and in the end there would be some questions, normal questions that will be asked by teacher. Let's say uh, the name of the required software. We'll see. We'll see to it, and we'll see if can we really refer to the right paragraph and pull out the information and be able to answer the right question. Okay. Okay. Let's see if our OpenAI. Yeah, OpenAI is also available. So as I said, all the three services that we require for today's demo are been created. Let's go in Azure OpenAI Studio. Um, it's a good place. So in OpenAI, normally you get to use the keys and you will be able to program. But this is a very nice studio. You can do a lot many things with it, and we'll see why it is really really powerful to use Azure OpenAI here. So one thing is will like creating each model. We have default model, namely GPT 3.5 or GPT 4 and things like that. We would need to create a deployment. So instead of a model, they call it as an engine in Azure OpenAI. So let's go ahead and do a deployment. With the workflow, you will know why it is required. So we select a model um, or based on which we are going to create a deployment. So we can use Turbo or Turbo 16K. That's a good facility. I just for sake of doing it, I'll go with Turbo 16K. There is no difference in these two versions except then the context level. So I just want to have a bigger context level, so I'll use this one. Version, I'll keep it as it is. I don't want to change. And yeah, I should name something here. Advanced, I can change the RPMs. As I said, for demo purpose, I really don't mind it, whatever the value it is. Okay. And another deployment that we would be needing is for embedding creation. So we're going to use Azure OpenAI's ADA 002 model to create embeddings. So yeah, super cool. Okay, done. Uh, Anything required? No, let's go ahead. Okay, just I will open the PDF file here uh, just to read through. We'll see if we can ask some questions about this page. So let's go ahead and see types of memory. Yeah, this looks good. Um, what are the types of memory? If, for example, if there is a general question, what are types of memory, then maybe it's going to be a primary memory, cache memory, and secondary memory. I mean, only if you read this book, you are going to be a 10th standard student or 11th standard student, and then if the teacher asks you in the exam, you just have to write these answers, right? So let me quickly ask the normal GPT 3.5, what are types of memory, right? What are types of memory? And it can talk about thousands of different things, right? Yeah, here you see, for him, the memory for general people, the memory is uh, long short-term memory and episodic memory. I don't know what those things are, but as I said, this is not what we want, right? We want him to read the document, and then we say, okay, and we're gonna ask questions against this document, and let's try to achieve this now. So here And that's the whole use case. So for example, from now on, I think it's going to be important and relevant in our context to see how can we talk to our data. So let's go ahead and say add your data, add your data source, and we say we're gonna get the data from Azure Blob Storage. What blob storage did we create? We created storage rag demo, right? And the container name was 11th class books, and this is our Azure Cognitive resource. It is going to be CS rag demo. That's the one we created. Okay. Let's create an index named, let's call it as books. Doesn't really matter. How do you want to index it? Do you want to index it once, or do you want to go and ask him to index every hour, every month, every week? Oh, no, there are no month and weekly, but daily or hourly. Um, Ideally, I don't know what value should be once, hourly, daily. It depends on your use case. So for demo purpose, let me take it hourly, just in case something goes wrong. It will re-index itself. Um, this is an important checkbox that we will have to check. Uh, do you want to create a vector search? Just like in the last demo that I showed you in MongoDB, where we can create an vector index. In a very, very similar fashion, it's going to create an vector index. And this vector index, the vectors or embeddings will be created using the uh, embedding 002 model that we created a few minutes ago. So obviously, we all want to use the vector search, which is going to be much, much, much powerful than just uh, keyword matches or a word-to-word match. We really want a semantic uh, similarity, right? Yeah. So I will check this checkbox. Yeah, that's correct. So whenever you say I'm gonna want to have a vector search, that's when it will ask you that, okay, to create a vector, I want to know what embedding model that you're going to use, and this is the model that we are going to use. Okay. Of course, whenever you are going to create an embedding, it will have some charges, and those charges, believe me, are dirt cheap. It's like 0.00001 rappen for 1,000 tokens, which is really cheap compared to the compute power that can be used to create, and all the bag of words that's going to stand behind it. So I think we should go for it. Okay, let's go next. And what kind of search that we want to have? Of course, we want to have hybrid search. We want to have a keyword search as well as a vector search. Okay. And that is it, I believe. Yeah, it should take a minute, less than a minute to process 12 different documents. Uh, Even if it is more documents, it should be done fast. And the moment it is done, so imagine or understand the power behind this particular architecture. It's not just gonna give you a random search. It's gonna extract all the text information, store it into an index form, um, within the word size of, I think, 8K, 8191 tokens, and it will be vectorized, and you will have a precise semantic searches. It's not just word to word match, but it's going to have a meaning match. So whenever I'm going to ask it for you know uh, why my computer is slow. It's not just going to talk about computers. It's going to talk about, uh, RAM. It's going to talk about your storage space. It's going to talk about your, processing powers and things like that. So all the close matches will definitely be taken care of. In my last video, I already talked about how whenever, if, for example, if you associate king with queen, and if you ask, okay, what is king is what is the man is associated with, most likely it's going to return with woman, and the other way around, right? So it's not just uh, word matches, but I cannot emphasize enough that it's going to be a semantic match. I have seen the power of it, and I'm truly amazed how powerful it can be. Oh, one very easy example I feel I should talk about is empty batteries. You are playing Xbox game and your batteries are empty, right? So next day you say, okay, when I go to store, store or electronic shop, I'll go and buy it. You go there, you spend the whole day in shopping. When you come home, and then you will remember it only when you sit next to your controllers, right? We want some mechanism that will remind us about when we go to a store and say, hey, what do I want to buy? And then that's when it should tell you you want to buy, onions and tomatoes, and of course the batteries, right? So this is the mechanism. I have read through my textbooks hundreds of the times, what are different types of memories, but I will not remember when someone asks me, name me what are the memory, what are different types of memories, right? So yeah, it's going to fit into your context. Okay, so our indexing is kind of done. Here we are, moment of truth now. We'll try to ask the same question, and basically it should refer to my documents rather than referring it to the knowledge that it has. So what are different types of memory? Okay. Um, Primary memory, secondary memory, I think it should have also talked about cache memory. Somewhere it should have had cache memory. But see, it already gives me the references. So this is the document it referred to, and it is giving me an output. Yeah, if I click on this one, it doesn't pop me out a PDF, but it gives me all the text that it has extracted from. Uh, yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to show it to you. Maybe just for sake of doing one more question, I can ask another question maybe. Let's see. I'll pick it from here. Categorize the following data structures. Let me just copy the same question. Mention the different types of data that you didn't know. What is need for secondary memory? Yeah, this is the question a teacher is going to ask most likely. Yeah. Yeah, it answered uh, with a reference. Yeah, and it again refers to the first chapter basically. Yeah. So there you go, guys. This is a very basic example of RAG architecture in Azure. Uh, I mean, it has not, let's say, index most likely correctly. It has not most likely done extraction of the PDF data into documents correctly. Um, it has not, put the data, or it has not made right sections correctly most likely. But that's when, if humans get involved into it, and if you really do it very rigorously using other tools, I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the most powerful tool for knowledge base. um, that is all for today, guys. uh, as always, questions, queries, concerns are more than welcome to make me a better person, come up with more knowledge, more encouragement, and of course, it's always give and take then. I wish you a very nice day.